The nation's capital, people are showing support for fired USAID workers who are at the D.C. headquarters of the dismantled agency this morning. You can see the signs being held there. They were given 15 minutes within a designated 1-hour window to pack their things and get out. This is happening hours after the Supreme Court gave the Trump administration a temporary victory and granted an emergency request to pause $2 billion in court-ordered payments to foreign aid contractors. CNN's Arlette Saenz is live in Washington, D.C., outside of USAID headquarters. What are you hearing as people have to go in and get their belongings in 15 minutes' time?
Well, Sarah, it's really been an emotional moment for many of the staffers who are coming here today to collect their belongings at USAID. We have seen several federal workers who were either fired or placed on administrative leave coming to collect their belongings. As you mentioned, they have about a 15-minute window to pick up any items from their office that they want to take home with them. And we are outside of the headquarters right now, where, as you can see behind me, dozens of people have assembled to try to offer their support for those USAID workers who are now leaving their jobs. I spoke a few minutes ago.
I think that's a good thing to have people out there to actually give people support, because some people are going to need that support. This is devastating. They worry about their family, their livelihood, and what they're going through. But the good thing I can say about this, and you probably could agree with me, we all lost jobs before, and it seemed like the end of the world. But before you know it, you have another job. When one door closes, another door is open up, and you might run into something. Some people might start their own business, might become entrepreneurs, and go a whole nother path that they're gonna be glad that they got let go, so they could go chase what they really wanted to do.
Yeah, because it's kind of strange when I look at it, just from life experience. Most times, they let you know while you're inside, so that you can take everything outside. I often hear somebody saying, "Hey, come in and get your stuff today." And here's a window of time. Like, that's strange. Where somebody would meet you, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're done, you're done. But it's cool that they do have a support system out there. Because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's a lot to process.
It's definitely a lot to process, and I'm pretty sure that these people, if they wasn't in the building, they pretty much had an idea that this might be coming. And I'm just saying, because I just was at Social Security a couple of days ago, and she said we're getting emails that we could be let go. So they letting them know what's going on.
It's happening around.
It could happen and it might not happen, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these people already was prepared for this to happen.
They're the best they could be.
Ago with a young woman named Julianne Alphin. She was participating in the Presidential Management Fellows here at USAID, which President Trump terminated just a few days ago. Here is how she described her experience throughout this process and as she came here to pick up her belongings today.
It's been horrible. There's been little to no communication with us. We're being treated terribly. I'm worried about overseas staff coming back. I've heard there's a little to no communication with them. There's been no offboarding with us. It's just been very sudden, everything. One day being locked out of the building, the next being told you're on admin leave, things like that. It's been very difficult.
So what was it like coming back here today?
Heartbreaking. Walking in the building and seeing all the pictures of our projects that were taken down, work like getting children vaccines or providing food aid, things that really matter, being treated as if they're nothing. It's really hard to see.
And so that just provides.
Just to hear saying they were doing stuff that really mattered, because when they was going do USAID, it seemed like they were doing a bunch of stuff that didn't matter. And if they was doing so much that mattered, they wouldn't have got rid of the program and the building as a whole. So obviously they felt like y'all doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's not as impactful as you think
thought.
It is.
Provides one window that provides one window into how so many of these federal workers who are being impacted by these cuts at agencies and also efforts to reduce the workforce, how they have been impacted. We know that just on Sunday, about 2,000 staffers with USAID were laid off, and many more were placed on administrative leave. This has really been a very uncertain period for so many federal workers in government at a time when the Trump administration has pledged to make cuts at agencies and also trying to reduce the workforce overall.
Yeah, a lot of emotion.
And they should have been expecting that because a lot of stuff they do was in 4A. When Donald Trump was running, he was saying America first.
America first.
We're tired of sending foreign aid. We're trying to put an end to it. It's hurting our deficit. So they should have kind of been expecting that a little bit.
Exactly. It's been very transparent.
USAID, which has basically been dismantled. Arlette Saenz, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mark, we're seeing some of the immediate impacts of the ruling and John Roberts kind of putting a stay on this. What is the ultimate impact of all this besides with Donald Trump?
Well, I think, first of all, USAID, I think, is gone as far as we've ever known it. Democrats have pretty much given up on trying to fight to get it back. It will end up in the courts, and it is in the courts. And we've seen even this emergency stay right now. Chief Justice John Roberts allowed the Trump folks more time based upon having to give out these contracts to USAID. I think this spells trouble because this is going to be the first step in really Donald Trump successfully dismantling the government. Now, everything that he does try to do, Sarah, is not going to be successful. But in this first step, he appears to be successful.
Yeah, this is another thing.
We'll take the win. We're fighting one battle at a time.
One battle at a time.
When the next battle come up, we'll fight that. But the first battle that came up, we won, and now we're moving to get a victory on the second one.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. Watching Donald Trump giving a really strong endorsement to Elon Musk, who was at the first cabinet meeting, not a cabinet member, but he was at the meeting. Right. And I thought it was interesting that he was like, is anybody unhappy to the room, to his cabinet? And they all clapped. I think everyone's not only happy, they're ecstatic, they're thrilled, Donald Trump said to his cabinet. What do you make of all of this?
We seen that clip. We seen him give him a standing ovation. Not a standing ovation, but everyone in the cabinet.
Everyone was clapping.
Was clapping for the job that he's doing right now.
Yeah. Because they can actually see
results.
Yes. And that you can't argue.
Yes. Well, you got a guy saying this is how we're gonna shave $1 trillion off by the end of the year.
By September.
By September, and he said we're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we want. We want it trimmed down by $1 trillion.
$4 billion a day saved.
And it seemed like they got the right man for the job because he's on par to get it done.
What? Let's have the president himself. Let's hear what he had to say because it is so interesting it says so much in such a little bit of period of time about what we're going to see over the next few weeks, next few months. Let's hear what he had to say.
Let the cabinet speak just for a second. Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, well, throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy?
Look at them all just clapping and smiling and thinking to themselves, Sarah, we better get on board. You know, it's very interesting. Donald Trump not only issues directions through social media, he also issues his threats to his own people in public, and that's clearly what we saw yesterday.
It clearly is, and it did feel a tiny bit awkward, or a lot awkward, when he made some of those statements and sort of they had to respond to it. Meantime, we're seeing...
It's not an awkward statement. It's the boss saying he's happy with the job that he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with what he's doing. He's doing everything that he said he was to do. Everything we set out to do, he's doing it. So if you got a problem with him, you have a problem with me. That's how I heard it as.
Yeah, it's like him saying, I'm glad I appointed him. I get to put all this on my back.
Yes.
Because he's seeing results.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Immediate results.
Yes.
Seeing these town halls where people are really unhappy with some of what Elon Musk has done. All right, Mark Preston, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kate?
And bouncing just right off of that, Republican members of Congress are increasingly facing backlash over Elon Musk and the DOGE cuts. In Virginia, voters protested at some mobile office hours for Republican Congressman Rob Whitman. The staffer usually leads these sessions, but constituents showed up. They wanted to hear from the congressman himself. Instead, they heard from a former government employee who also wanted some answers from the congressman.
Just looking at this crowd and hearing this crowd, I'm pretty sure these are Democrats. So whatever the Republicans do, they're going to have an issue.
They're going to be anti.
Yes.
And these mass terminations without any assessment of the American people's needs will end up costing taxpayers more money. Waste. Disruption to services. You want to know why no one's at the Social Security office? They're firing people.
I just was at social services 2 days ago. They was open and not fired. I spoke to somebody. No issues at all. But she said they might lose their job. She did say that. But right now, it's business as usual. And I seen a video yesterday where Trump said he don't even plan on doing nothing with Social Security. I heard him say that, and everything Trump is saying so far, he's keeping his word on it. This is just yesterday. I was hearing him saying, I'm not getting rid of it.
Right.
People there accuse the Republican congressman of hiding from his constituents. Yeah. Here is then what the Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson had to say last night about all of this blowback.
The videos you saw of the town halls were for paid protesters in many of those places. These are Democrats who went to the events early and filled up the seats.
We done seen this time after time after time with the Democrats. It just looked like it happened organically that this stuff happened, but time after time we find out these are paid people, paid organizers to be there just to do this so they can have news clip.
Yeah, news clip.
We seen these plays already. We're not new to it. Time I seen it, I heard them yelling. I'm like, these are Democrats. Like, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna be anti anything Trump.
Absolutely.
If the videos had panned,
you can't argue they were all
building,
paid protesters, though, Mr. Speaker.
Many of them were.
A Republican acknowledged they were his constituents.
One Republican acknowledged they were his constituents. That's fantastic. Okay, but they had Democrats come and fill the seats early.
Yeah.
Joining us right.
It's not rocket science what is going on, because we done seen these plays time and time again. You can't keep running the same plays on us and think we're not going to pick up until what's going on.
Don't have any idea, just be oblivious to what's going on.
This is why they lost the election, because they act like we don't know when we know.
Right now is Democratic Congressman Jason Crow from Colorado. Congressman, it's good to see you. The House Speaker, they're seeming to dismiss this blowback. We've seen no evidence that, one, people were paid, and two, Democrats can be Republican members of Congress constituents as well. You have Republicans in your district. I have seen examples of people attending these events saying that they're lifelong Republicans and live in those districts. What is your reaction to what seems to be Johnson's shoulder shrug response to this?
I'm just going to stop it right there. There's no way you're a Republican and going against what Donald Trump's doing right now. Yeah. Even a lot of the Democrats is happy about what he's doing right now by cutting all the fat, because when it was coming out what the money was being wasted on, nobody could possibly agree on where the money was going to and say that was a good idea to send that money over here than to take care of the people that are right here paying taxes.
Going through it.
Yes.
Well, let's first of all compare the images here. You just showed a video of the first cabinet meeting, and they were laughing and patting each other on the back and clapping, as if everything is fine. They're taking their victory lap. At the same time, if you actually get outside of the D.C. bubble, you get outside of the swamp, and make no mistake, all these people in the cabinet meeting, these are creatures of the swamp, right? These are billionaires, these are elite executives, these are oil and gas executives, these are lifetime politicians. If you get outside of that room and you go around America, people are hurting, they're afraid, they are feeling the real cuts of what's happening, the real human impact what's happening, and they're pissed, and they should be pissed. And they're starting.
I live outside of the D.C. area. I'm not afraid, and I'm not pissed about none of this
at all. And this is just being straight up with you. I'm waiting to see how everything pans out.
Yes.
To see increase.
I'm so interested to see what 2026 is going to look like.
Absolutely.
To stand up and to be heard. And my Republican colleagues can certainly ignore them, but they are not going away.
I mean, you wrote about this yesterday. It grabbed my attention. You said the lesson from tough town halls isn't to run away. You said, I'm hosting a town hall tomorrow, meeting today, because my constituents have a right to know where I stand and what I'm doing to advocate for them. I mean, what are you hearing from your constituents, and what do you expect to hear from them today?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, showing up and listening is fundamental to the job. It is the most basic element of the job. The people you represent have a right to know what you're doing, where you stand, the votes you're taking, and for you to stand in front of them and to be
It's funny that he said that people have a right to know what you're doing as a Democrat, but the Democrats have a problem with Elon Musk sending an email out to all the federal workers just listing 5 things that you did last week. So when it comes to him, people want to know, but if Elon Musk asks people, what have you been doing? It's an issue.
It's an issue. And then, you know what? It's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple because things like this happen and you have those moments, but the world knows that you have to answer this email.
Yes.
You don't answer this email, I have no remorse for you.
Nah, not at all.
I'm just being real. Like, everybody is so hurt. Oh my God, people are losing their jobs. It's different. It's different if you just caught the axe.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But like, this is avoidable.
Yes.
If you want to have a silent protest, go ahead. The end result is they're going to march you out that building.
Yes.
In a line with your box.
Yes. And it take like 2 minutes to fill out 5 things that you did.
If you can't, what the hell
are you doing? Facts.
What you're doing, where you stand, the votes you're taking, and for you to stand in front of them and to be accountable for that. And they may not always agree with you, but they have a right to know that. You know, if I do a town hall and I have a very mixed district, I have a lot of Republicans. I'm the first Democrat ever to hold my seat in Congress. But, I'll show up and I'll have Republicans that say, you know what, I don't necessarily always agree with you, but at least I know where you stand and I don't think you're lying to me and you're being transparent. I'll take that, right? Because that's the start of a conversation and we can actually develop trust and go somewhere with that. So obviously we need more than that. If the Republicans are going to shut that out and refuse to listen, there will be consequences to that sooner, probably rather than later. I was listening to what he was saying.
Me too.
I was like, that's a good point about transparency.
Yes.
But then when he shifted in, like, if they're going to, like, that is the last thing that has been happening.
Yes.
In this administration.
Yes.
These men may be making a lot of different steps.
Yeah.
But it's not behind closed doors.
Yes. You know what's coming.
You know what's coming. Whether you agree with it or not.
You know.
That's up to you.
You know that it's coming.
But you know what's going on.
Yes.
You know why they're doing what they're doing. They're telling them.
Yes.
I've never seen this.
Me neither.
Not like to this magnitude.
Me neither.
We're going to tell the American people what we're actually doing, and we're going to do it.
And we're going to actually.
And we're going to do it quickly.
And we're actually going to answer all your questions. It's like every day they're taking questions from how people feel and what's going on, and we're answering them right there on the spot.
People get shut down.
Yes.
They can ask the question.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get the answer, or at least not the answer you want.
Yeah.
They're shutting them down with facts.
Yeah. It's definitely correct. Before we get out of this video, if you didn't like, subscribe, or leave a comment, make sure you do that. Until our next video, it's Tremaine Jones.
And it's Lamar Wilson.
And we out.